Hello everyone, my name is Iyobosa Errol. Originally I'm from Nigeria, but I grew up in Finland, then I live here in the US. At my last role, I held a position titled Assistant Vice President at an investment banking firm. So my expertise in cybersecurity stems from lots of years of technological background experience, right? From my undergrad in Finland, where I studied telecommunication and production economics, to the US where I studied networking and cybersecurity, to obtaining my CISSP, to obtaining my CISM, to obtaining my GSLC. All that technological background plus certification enabled me to steer through my career in cybersecurity. That was how I started. Now, of course, I didn't get my certifications that I just named when I was getting into cyber, but my education helped me get into cyber. So with experiences as that, you can use that to get into cybersecurity, and you can kind of find where you can fit in, right? In cybersecurity, the main areas are, you want to be an audit, you want to be offensive security or defensive security, right? And you can transfer those knowledges irrespective of your background. So don't take me as, oh, he learned tech. Take you as an example that even though whatever background you're coming from, what you're going to learn at Coldfish will enable you to transition into cybersecurity. Part of my interest in cybersecurity, or should I say what interested me in cybersecurity, is its diversiveness, right? Cybersecurity is not just technology as everybody thinks. Cybersecurity looks at a business function from top to bottom, from administrative to technological to physical. The fact that we're able to come into an organization, or at least I'm able to come into an organization, to be able to assess where there could be potential risk, all looking at different moving parts, gets me excited, right? And these are things we're going to talk about when you join Coldfish, the different avenues that we get to explore in businesses when you do become that cybersecurity professional. So during this program, during this boot camp, we're going to look at 8 modules in total, okay? First 4, actually the 8 modules are going to be divided in 4 pieces. First 4 gives you an introduction into cyber. The last 4, we get more really fun stuff to do, where we talk in depth of the technologies that are available, things you can do, and learn more about cyber. Those modules from 1 to 4, they include history to understand systems, Windows, Linux, and so on, who started, how did it start, how to manage them. Then go into networking security, and then progress into cloud technology to understand what's really happening in the cloud, because everything is in the cloud, right? You don't necessarily have to look up and see stuff in the cloud, but it's a figure of speech. The 4th is application security. So those 4 that I just mentioned is the fundamental for everyone, for you coming in to understand as a fundamental to get into cyber. And then after that, after you finish the first 4 modules, we're going to progress or graduate into the advanced final 4. And those final 4 includes offensive security, defensive security, cybersecurity operations. The last module, actually, we're going to talk about what to expect in an examination environment, specifically getting your cert in CompTIA Plus. I come from the approach of practicality. We will cover these modules that I just spoke about, but we will also go online to actually have live experiences. Everyone who comes or takes this course will have access to our live labs that gives you instructions on how to actually perform real-life scenario of what a cybersecurity professional experiences during their cybersecurity career. So not only will you learn theoretical experiences or practice, you will also learn a practical approach so that when you get out there and you're working in the field, working for a company, you actually know what you're doing. You do not need to know how to code. As a matter of fact, you don't need to understand. We will introduce you to the fundamentals of technology, because to be a hacker, you have to understand the technology you're going to use to actually perform your cybersecurity task, right? So you don't need to be a coder. You don't need to understand networking. You don't need to understand application security or anything. You can come as you are, and we will introduce you. That's why we have the first 4 modules, to introduce you and take you on that journey of cybersecurity. Start you on that journey with cybersecurity. Then we take it a notch a bit to the advanced cybersecurity. So no, you don't need coding. You don't need application security. You don't even need to understand binary, all right? The ones and zeros and the conversions, right? Just come as you are, and we'll get you through it so that you'll be able to start your cybersecurity journey. It depends on your heart. Let's put it that way. It depends on your heart. I mean, take Star Wars. You got people going from one point to another, to the other side, dark side or Republic or whatnot. But if you have ethics, you know the right thing to do. I will not advise you to be a hacker. I will not say go and hack. I would say use your ethics to be able to help companies reduce risk by losing money. Companies don't want to lose money. So the question is, will this make you a hacker? It will give you the set of skills you need to either protect yourself, protect the company you're going to work for, or cause harm. I can give you keys to a door doesn't necessarily mean you can go through the door and steal all my belongings. You can go in, sit back and relax and have a good time. Use your ethics knowledge, right? So when you get in, do good. Cybersecurity professional world is fun, relatively. If you have a curiosity mindset, it is fun because you can't sit alone. Cybersecurity is not a one-man island. It enables you to talk. You have to interact. You have to talk to a lot of other cybersecurity professionals because we're in the world of information sharing, all right? And because of that, you acquire knowledge really fast. The knowledge comes really fast because you're curious. So for you not to find it boring, you have to be curious, you have to be inquisitive, right? And that gives you the ability to even learn more. It gives you the ability to talk to other people in your field. It gives you the ability to learn how businesses function. Like I said in my earlier introduction, cyber doesn't just cover technology. It covers business operation, the technologies that is used to support the business, and the physical location of the business as well. So all that is covered in cyber. So if you are inquisitive enough, if you are curious enough, and not just think that you want to switch careers because you want to get a higher pay, the higher pay comes later because now that inquisitiveness is now paying. It's now being paid for because you're now you're now working in cyber. So the cyber field is fun. You get to meet a lot of people. You get to learn what new technologies are out there. You get to learn how to maybe break them. You get to know how to put them together. You get to really explore technologies that you wouldn't really see if you were to be in another field of professional. That is my opinion. Because as a cybersecurity professional, you want to know how new technologies work so you can protect them before the company actually implements them. So again, be inquisitive. If you have that inquisitiveness, if you have that being resourcefulness, Googling, reading information, simulating information fast, working with people, it's going to be fun. So, from an entry-level perspective, let me take a step back. If you're going into an IT field, the de facto entry point is help desk, right? Customer service, right? Helping and troubleshooting with computers. If you're going into cyber, the most common entry is analyst, cybersecurity analyst. You start as an analyst, or you started as a security operations center analyst. On your day-to-day task as an analyst, entry-level analyst, basically you are the one in the front-facing scout, looking out for stuff that are bad, that are going through the network. Communicating with the network guys, the software guys, and so on to understand the network, to understand what is actually going on, and sending an alarm or communicating with the necessary departments to let them know if there was something bad happening on the network and how to remediate it. So you'll be on a lookout guy. You'll be a lookout guy, observing the network, seeing what's going on, and then after that you can start progressing to see where you really find your niche in the cybersecurity field, right? You want to be defensive, you want to be offensive, or you want to be the auditor. So again, entry point starts with a cybersecurity analyst, where you get to look out for stuff and send an alert, report it, understand what's going on in the network before you start progressing to what you really love. I think this is true because the more technology evolves, the more technology advances, the more technologies are pushed out, there's gonna be a higher risk, okay? People think cybersecurity is just, hey, I come and I hack. But if you look at it from a business perspective, cybersecurity a professional comes into a company to reduce risk. Risk could be financial, it could be technological, it could be physical. But you look at it to reduce risk, to prevent the company from being in the news, from being hacked, so on and so forth. Now, why this statistics is increased, the increase in statistics, is because technologies are fast deployed now. There's a fast deployment of technologies. They're advanced. For example, self-driving cars is a tech that we didn't even dream, like 10 years ago wasn't here, right? Cell phones, computers, VR, AR, all that stuff is coming out. As those technologies evolve every 18 months. As those technologies come out and people retire from cyber, there's gonna be a huge gap in who's gonna help protect those technologies, right? Who's gonna help look out for those technologies that are being implemented in companies. So that's where there's going to be huge demand in cybersecurity professionals who will help give advisory or help those companies reduce their cybersecurity risk posture from them being, hacked or loss of money, so on and so forth. Hacking for good, yes. So a company I used to work for, I'm not going to spit out the name, they were pushing out a site in Asia Pac. And this was a new website and so on in Asia Pac, and they just got into that region. So as developers, they usually just develop a website and deploy it. But there's always a practice where you always have to work with a cybersecurity guy to do an audit to make sure the tech works before it pushed out. Kind of like reduce the bug type of thing. Make sure they're having or following the methodology of secure software development lifecycle, right? So the site was pushed out, and my team got a word of it, and come to find out, it didn't go through a security audit. So the head of that department came and said, hey, EO, this site came out. Can you perform an audit, aka pen test, to see if this site is actually or can withstand cybersecurity attacks? I said, okay. It took me 30 minutes, and the site was down. It took them 3 months to bring the site back up. It was for good, though. It was for good. The company knew that I was doing this, okay? FYI. They knew I was doing this. So that's what I would relate to say cybersecurity for good. The first two, analyst and specialist, depends on the company. Don't let the fancy name confuse you. You can be an information security analyst. You can be an information security specialist. They can use that name in a financial institution. They can then take an information security specialist and use that in, educational institution. If your task or duties it all boils down to the task, okay? If the tasks are the same, the job title wouldn't really hit that much, okay? We can see them being one and the same depending on the industry, all right? Now, for the third part, IT auditor or cybersecurity auditor, basically your job is to go in and make sure the company is adhering to cybersecurity policies, the HIPAA, the FIGMA, the SOX, the PCIs, and so on. And if they're not, you point out, hey, you guys are not in compliance, go fix it. I'm going to wait for you to fix it. And if they fix it, okay, cool, they're fine. So that's what an auditor does. Kind of like how, the mob got busted by the tax auditor, right? So same way an auditor comes in and looks and see that they're adhering to cybersecurity policies, depending on the industry. If it's financial industry, then they need to adhere to PCI. If they're healthcare, they need to adhere to HIPAA. If they're also financial too, they need to adhere to Sarbanes-Oxley, right? So on and so forth. So you come in, you understand the policies and the compliance they need to adhere to. You look at the current business functions, things they have implemented, processes, procedures, and so on. Compare that to the policy of what the policy demands. And if they don't meet those policies, then you report back to your supervisor or higher upper, that this is what they need to do to close those gaps. Absolutely, we'll be covering all that, because then again, like I said initially, is cybersecurity covers everything, should cover everything. Here's a pointer. If you go to a boot camp and they just talk about hacking, they didn't cover everything. You leave scratching your head, and if the boot camp is going to be for 2-3 months, then you're still left in limbo to trying to understand what happens. When you come to Coldfish, the curriculum that we have designed introduces you to the technologies that are out there, right? Cloud technology, laptops, cell phones, what's going on. Then, how do you protect them, right? Once you know all those, we show you, okay, through the lab courses, how to hack them. Now you know how they're going to be hacked. Then you need to start thinking, how do you protect them? That's what you get hired for, right? So when you know how the technology works, the fundamentals of the technologies, you also then get to understand how they can get hacked. You then understand how to protect them. Then you can go out there, you can go to a job interview, have that interview confidently, knowing fully well they'll trust your judgment, and then you get a job, and then you're on your way. When you come to Coldfish, we have modules. Those modules are designed to the extent as we can, prepare you for two things: the cybersecurity field, when you get a job, and certification. The certification that we chose is CompTIA. Let me circle back. When you go through the module, it prepares you, and you will get Coldfish certified. Yes, Joe Smith got certified, completed a course bootcamp with Coldfish in cybersecurity. You can take that for a job interview already. The more certifications you have, the more it shows your proficiency in the cybersecurity field. Thus, add in CompTIA Plus, which is one of the top 8 certifications to have. If you're going into as an entry-level cybersecurity, you can take your CompTIA Security Plus already. There are other certifications that you will need to wait 5 years to have, 5 years to have, because you have to be a professional. Case in point, CISSP, CISM, and so on. But CompTIA, added on top of your Coldfish Bootcamp certification or accreditation, is a much stronger tool underneath your belt, in your belt, right? To say, hey, not only do I have completed Coldfish Bootcamp in cybersecurity, look here, I also have CompTIA, which is one of the top 8 certifications in the world to have, whether you are going in as an entry level or whether you're a cybersecurity professional, all right? So why we chose CompTIA is because you don't need the 5-10 years experience to then be able to take a certification, right? Studying, going through our class, going through our course already prepares you for CompTIA. So right after you're done with our course or with the program, Coldfish program, you can take your CompTIA, add that together, you have more to present during that interview.